maybe Pich will add some of those ballers through free agency. And in the free agent frenzy that we're going to talk about right now, we also...
Just remember, kids, free agency is not free.
This is true. It's very expensive in the NBA. And just to paint a little bit of context for this, Pich, before we go into some of the free agents and the talks from Orlando Magic fans out there, we got the idea. We pulled this from a post from NBA Daily. They had their top 45 NBA draft picks, which I'm putting up right now.
Yep.
And then a little bit more context into our salary cap. So I'm going to try to make sense of this. This is from sportstrack.com. We have our practical. Let me just talk about so with all of the holds, yes, Bamba is going to be likely a restricted free agent. Gary Harris is a free agent. Bol is likely going to be a restricted free agent. I feel like I'm forgetting a couple other guys. I think Ignis and Admiral, not that those are huge hits, but all of those they have holds on the salary cap, and those holds are often larger in many times than the salary that they were making as kind of a projection of what they might make until they actually get a deal inked. So if you take all of that, we have negative $56 million in cap space.
All right.
Yeah. But when you figure all that stuff out and you kind of plan for who's likely to go, the practical cap space, according to sportstrack.com, is around the range of 27-ish million, and the maximum possible cap space would be 27.5 million, essentially.
Right, we're done paying Timofey Mozgov, right?
He's off of our books. Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah.
The one thing that I noticed about this list is a guy that I think we would want to come in, and that's Dwight Howard. So this would be another top NBA list that Dwight doesn't make, and that's sad because he definitely should be in the top group here. There's some names on this list of guys I kind of know, but I only know them because I know they stink. Dwight should be on this list.
Well, let's start by talking about Dwight because it was Anthony at Orlando Magic HQ that got us thinking about this. He responded to our post about who you would like to see the Magic maybe go after in free agency. And it must be Al over there. Or no, I'm sorry, Anthony with this post. He put together a beautiful little graphic about just with Dwight Howard there. And he said, "Dare I say it, ... And it's Dwight and Orlando Magic warm-up. So let's start there, Pich. Is it time for the big man's return?
I've said it before on this show. I think we should bring Dwight back, even if it's his final year. Have him play it out with us.
Yeah.
Let's put that 12 up in the rafters, and let's close the chapter on a pretty damn good career. And he's obviously going to be in the top 100 NBA players when that list eventually comes out because he was snubbed of the 75. And I think it's time. I think he's a good, he's going to do what Rolo did for us this year. But he's Dwight Howard, and he's got some history with the squad, so I feel like it's better. He's also a fun guy. He likes to have fun, so he might get into some shenanigans with stuff and help replace some of that stuff. So, I mean, maybe we're doing the Dwight Howard check-in.
Exactly. He's well-traveled at this point. Dwight Howard check-in.
Could come.
Great for the show.
I'm hoping.
All right, Anthony, I'm with it just for the show.
We kind of challenged each other to come up with 5 free agents from this list or just in general that we would want to come up onto this team. And a lot of mine are kind of for selfish reasons. I didn't include Dwight because he didn't make this list that we were working from.
Okay.
But I would easily scratch off any of these dudes to bring Dwight in.
I did include him on my list. And I don't know if you want to get into that now or if you want to talk about some of what the people said.
All right, let's hear what people are saying now.
All right, let's hear what the people said. We'll come back to Dwight.
The beautiful people.
The beautiful people. Blue and White Ignite podcast. I'm sorry about that. Posted and replied to us on Twitter. I mean, I think the one person that would be great target is Zach Lavine. If Weltman can make a deal which ensures Lavine gets a big sum based off how many games he's played and if clauses in case he gets injured in which he makes a smaller amount and sell him on the future. I appreciate it, Joshua at Blue and White Ignite, but it's just not happening. I mean, nor do I even really know if I want it to happen. Zach Lavine is the biggest name on the unrestricted free agent. He is the only one out there. Some wonky stuff with the way he was traded. I don't exactly know why, but the Bulls still have early bird rights on him based on how he played, how many years he played there. So they can offer him the most money by a significant margin. They can offer him 212 over 5 years, and I think other teams are in like the 160. So this guy's going to have to walk away from like 40, 50 mil over 5 years to come and play with the Orlando Magic. I mean, we love the franchise, but I just don't see Zach Lavine wanting to essentially step back. I don't want to say where the Bulls were a couple of years ago. It was just him and a bunch of guys because we're better than that. But, like, I just don't know if he'll kind of see it that way. You know, and I don't think he'll want to do that.
Well, I see this as like I see these Celtic slippers that I've been wearing, and I'm all done with this now because I don't want to represent Boston anyway. They're not classy fans. I stand with Clay and the Warriors. And I'm going to go ahead. This is our R2-D2 trash can here. I'm going to go ahead and put these right in here, and if I could take that and put it in here, I would as well. Because Zach Lavine is not a winning player. If he was, he would want to re-sign with the Bulls and stick that out and get that done. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he a great player?
Very good player.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem like he has that winning attitude that's going to push a team over the hump. And if this is the kind of money he's going to be demanding, that's not a good fit for us. Because I think we have guys on our team that are going to earn that contract within the next 2 or 3 years. And I don't want his contract getting in the way of that.
Okay. I feel that. Yeah. I mean, I would love to get Zach Lavine. You can get a proven, I don't want to say superstar, but he's knocking on that door. Guy that can give you 30 on a night easily. We talked about this on the last episode with the trade cage around Donovan Mitchell. I'm reluctant to
rather have Donovan Mitchell
much.
than Zach Lavine.
Yeah, that's fair. And, you know, again, I just mentioned our salary cap. 5 years, $20 million, that's 40-ish plus million a year. Hey, we don't have that room right now.
Nope.
So we can't just sign Zach Lavine.
We're not going to have it in year 3, 4, or 5 either.
Exactly. So, and that means, you know, coming up on year 3 or 4 and 5, like you said, this is Chuma and Cole's 3rd year.
Right.
And then they go into their 4th year. So the 3rd year of this, like, those guys are going to be up.
What are you going to do? Not eventually pay Franz or Suggs?
Yeah, exactly. Then you're really
you're
going to have to make those decisions.
Right.
And Zach Lavine's contract would force you into those maybe earlier than you would like. So and guys would have to get traded. We'd have to move some money around to make this work.
This kind of goes into what you were saying earlier, where it's like we have a good young team and we want to see them healthy, all playing together for a season and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the season we'd feel differently.
Yeah.
But right now, you know, I'm a little worried about some of the free agents coming in and mixing in well, which is why like a lot of my list is kind of for fun, because I don't really see someone stepping in as a free agent and stepping into our starting lineup, to be honest.
The next guy we're going to talk about is a really popular guy in the Orlando community because he's from there. Anfernee Simons. Jeff Weltgod put together a nice little post in replying to our post about who would you like in free agency. Picture of Anfernee Simons next to that Orlando Magic logo. He is a restricted free agent, ladies and gentlemen. So, well, he will be, assuming Portland is going to put out a tendering offer, which I'm sure they will.
Maybe this is why the other guy came up with that trade, because they knew that they were going to re-sign Simons.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make him feel at home by bringing all the Orlando guys on.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, a little bit of home brought to you on the West Coast for Linguini in a truck. That makes sense. So the last 20 games of the season for Anfernee Simons, he was 22 points, 5.5 assists, 2.5 rebounds on 44% from the field and 42% from three-point range. Pretty solid numbers. Pretty damn solid numbers. That is definitely what you're looking for in your, two guard. And Portland has $21 million in practical salary cap space, so they can make this sign without having to move anybody. He probably will be expecting what I read online in that like $18 to $20 million a year range, so they will be able to sign him, and it's already kind of baked into their books, so they're good with that. We would have to come over the top on that, and I don't feel good about anything more than $20 million to a guy like Anfernee Simons, who Cole Anthony could be next year. Our guys could be that already and have shown that they can be. So do I love the fit? I don't know if I necessarily love him so much over RJ, Cole, or Suggs in terms of fit. Is he a better player than any three of those guys right now? Absolutely. All right, don't get me wrong, but one of these guys would have to be on the way out for us to make that happen. And also, I think Jeff Weltgott and a lot of people are kind of dreaming a little idealistically to get this guy back home. But it maybe isn't too out of left field, because Portland is going to have to take some big swings this offseason, Pich. If they really want to make Damian Lillard happy, and if they really want to make a run at things, free agency buzz has connected them to all the big names. DeAndre Ayton, Zach Lavine, etc.
True.
If they're going to bring in a guy like that that's going to dominate $40 million like Zach Lavine could,
right,
there's going to be some victims of that. And maybe it would be this very promising young star.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, you're making a good case, because I assumed that the Blazers are going to re-sign him and just kind of scratch him off my list immediately, because why wouldn't you want to build with him and Lillard at this point and go from there? But you're making a good case if they're going to go in a free agent mode and go in a different way, I suppose. I suppose that is possible. I think it's not really talked about a lot, but in almost every sport, when a player tries to play in their hometown, it's not necessarily good for them, especially young players, because they have all the creature comforts of home, and it's not quite the same. They're not as focused on the game. They got all their people wanting tickets to every game, and it's a little distracting.
Yeah,
I don't. I've seen it a lot in hockey. I've seen it a lot in all the other sports, and I believe it would probably be the same and true as basketball as well. Might be better for him when he got older, but I don't necessarily think that bringing him back to Orlando is the best move for his development at this stage. I mean, unless he has a great support system around him, which he may.
Yeah.
But sometimes the pressure of playing in your hometown is pretty great as well. I've seen players choose not to play in their hometown because they don't want that pressure of the local media being like, you're the local boy, get it done, let's have it. So I don't think it's necessarily the best move.
That's a lot.
But I do like him as a player. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, I would love to have him on the squad, but I don't know. I think it's a reach. So let's talk about some our wish list.
Okay.
And some of the guys that we pulled as, I don't know, how did you do your list, Pich? Because I did mine in a practical way. I didn't really do it as my wish list. I did it on guys that I think are realistic targets and I think would maybe fit the roster well.
Well, I kind of already told you I did mine for fun.
You did yours for fun.
I did mine for mostly fun because I felt like most of the players I would want on our team are going to get re-signed.
Yeah.
So as I went through the list, I kind of was like, well, that guy's not going to actually be available.
Yeah.
I'm going through that list of 45, and I'm kind of just like, well, that guy's not going to be available. That guy's not going to be available. So I kind of eliminated some players I'd like to see. I do know that there's a player on your list that I do feel like I really would want, but I just feel like they're re-signing him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I try to do it realistically, and I think it was a little bit for fun too, because I think that really in terms of some of the bigger names, Pich, we're a year away at least from really being active in free agency. There's a couple reasons for that, Pich. I think number one, we still have to establish ourselves and our brand and our basketball team to the larger media. I mean, you can just see in the trash talk and the shit talk, Draymond seems to use us as the whipping boy every single time he wants to reference a crappy basketball team. He says the Orlando Magic. And I don't know why that is, but the fact that,
I think I know why.
Yeah, I mean, we're not great, but there's a lot of other crappy teams that he could mention.
Sure.
And ours comes to mind for him for one
reason.
We're
on the East Coast, and he only plays us twice a year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd probably say like the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
but I think he doesn't want to get that.
He doesn't want to get that beef going.
So, yeah.
Oh, you're giving him way more credit than I am.
He's a smarter man than you
think. There's something there in that, established players, all-star players, they don't see Orlando right now as the place to play. Now, I think that's going to change after this year and all the things that we talked about early in the social media roundup about Markelle, about Wendell, about the leaps that those guys are going to make along with Franz and Jalen and Chuma and Cole. Then the culture that's being established along with the number one and Isaac coming back, hopefully. There's some good things brewing, and I think if we sniff that play-in, then that will establish us. That's the first thing. The second thing, I just think it's a little preempted. Like, we need a year of growth to really get the best bang for our buck in terms of signing a free agent. I think it's just a little bit early in these younger players' development to bring in a guy who then likely, if it's a big free agent, becomes the guy.
Sure.
and then everyone kind of just orbits around him.
Well, I agree. As I said earlier, I don't think we're going to get anybody in free agency that's going to crack our starting lineup.
Yeah.
So I kind of did do mine on a realistic.
Okay.
We're going to have them for a year or two.
All right.
And that's it.
So
Like,
we're
they're
on the
here
same
to be
wavelength.
benched. They're here to be veteran presence,
All right.
perhaps. I don't have them us taking that big dude. Although
Okay.
I do give a little more credit to the players in the NBA. I get what you're saying, and I think that you're right. But I think the right player, if you
Yes.
want to use Zach Lavine, they smell what we're cooking down here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I hope you're right.
They see it. They
I
see
hope
it.
you're
All
right.
these players talk. They're all friends. They know we're on a positive uptick. So I don't think somebody would be afraid to sign on a Florida team, by the way, where the
Yeah.
weather's decent and
No
there's no
income
state
tax.
tax.
Yeah.
So, that's inviting to a lot of players.
Okay, so we did these lists. It sounds like we were in the pretty similar mindset in terms of realistic
Sure.
free agents that we could go for. So why don't you give me your list? I'm curious of what you have because my list is on the.
All right, I'll just go.
presentation
First of all, I've got LaGuentis Dort.
here. Oh,
I love
know.
the name LaGuentis.
Yeah.
I know he's a big supporter of the Laval Rocket, which is my favorite AHL squad. So I'm all for LaGuentis Dort. Love the name. Would love to say it more on the show. Maybe it could be a LaGuentis check-in.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Who knows?
It could be fun. Nicholas Batum
Yes.
is a player I've always liked.
Yeah.
I do actually feel like he could fit in on this team. I think he'd come off our bench well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's played enough to be a veteran presence without being the old man. He could still jive with the younger guys. I said jive as if I'm somehow hip. I also said hip.
That was 50 years ago, Peach.
But yeah, I think Nick Batum is a realistic possibility.
Okay.
I've got Victor Oladipo on there. That's a little bit with the heart there. I'd like to see it. I
Yeah.
could see him coming back and be a veteran leader off the bench. But I don't know as though he necessarily fits. I think that was just for fun.
Yep.
Speaking of fun, I've got Uncle Jeff Green. I mean, he's still playing. He is still playing.
But he's already played with us, and he's trying to do one team every year, so I don't think
But he's
coming.
probably going to come back if he likes what he sees. And he
Okay.
would be a fun Rolo-esque old school veteran, sit on the bench, dispel advice, and
Yeah.
perhaps become an assistant coach with us or something. I'm just thinking. I don't know.
I like that. He can play the 4 or 5.
Last but not least, another fun one, home one I think you're going to be on board with, Wes Matthews. Not only did he play at Marquette, where I used to work, I worked some of his games in college.
Yep.
Also has Bridgeport ties.
Yes. Wes Matthews Sr. went to Harding High School.
Yep.
Big
So
basketball player in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
I would like to see Wes. I feel like he could be a good veteran off the bench. He's played on some teams. He won a title with the Lakers, I believe. So I think he could be a good
I like
bench
your
guy
list,
with us.
Bish.
Do you? All right.
Yeah, I do like your list. I had Wes Matthews on mine, and then I backspaced him out.
All right.
I just think he's going to command more salary and want a little bit more of a featured role than we'll be able to give him. I mean, he was coming off the bench kind of like 6th Manning, 7th Manning for the Mavs, who were a playoff team there for a while. So
Yep.
I think he wants that taste a little bit more, and I just don't think we can offer it to him. So there are guys like that. Victor Oladipo, I kind of put in that same bucket. I thought about him for a moment, but then I backspaced him off my list. I broke my list down into wings, centers, and bench veteran guard, because that's kind of where I thought our needs were and what we could maybe address in free agency. Now, the biggest guys up here that are actually kind of speedometer movers, they would actually tick us up, I think, significantly, would be Miles Bridges and Kyle Anderson. They're both unrestricted free agents, and I think those are both really good players.
Miles Bridges
So-
is the player I was referring to when I saw your list and
Yeah.
saw a player that I'm pretty sure the Hornets are going to try to
They
maybe
got
even
to.
give the bag to him.
They
But
should, yeah. I mean,
If they
have to,
don't,
kind
yeah,
of.
I want Miles Bridges. I think he's about to take another leap because he took a good leap this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's about to take another leap, and it'd be great to snag him.
Yeah, so I think he plays that, like, again, that 3-2-3, which is still an area of need for us. Same thing with Kyle Anderson. I like his game. He would maybe even be a better fit because he's less ball dominant. He doesn't take as many shots as a guy like Miles Bridges. That would be a great guy just coming off Memphis, playing with Memphis, a really good squad, up and coming. We have kind of a similar energy. Maybe he can bring that to us. But honestly, when I'm thinking about wing threes, some of the best options on here, and I'm sorry this is kind of boring, are trying to bring back Gary Harris and Ignis. Like,
Yeah,
we're-
I didn't
we don't-
think about bringing back the players that we have,
Yeah,
but I
okay.
probably should have because honestly, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, we need a guy that can play the 3, off the bench. Or if it's Miles Bridges, he would probably start in the 3, but we're going to need that. We need some 3 depth and some wing depth. So I think any of those guys would bring it. They'd fill different roles. Kyle Anderson, Miles Bridges would probably be either a starter or like a 6-man situation. Gary Harris and Ignis would probably be, bench situation. Centers. I think we need a backup center. And if we don't address it in the draft with those 32nd and 35th picks, we need to go like we did last year, like we got Rollo, and get a guy who can be the relief pitcher, as Rollo said. Not necessarily play every game,
right,
but play some stints. Although if Mo Bamba's out the door, might be playing every game.
I think Mo Wagner's going to see more minutes this year. So
yeah, I like that. And we have him there, and I did kind of forget about him. You're right. We talked about this guy, and you didn't bring him up at all. Nicholas Claxton. Why didn't you bring him up? Why wasn't he on your list?
Because I don't – look, here's the thing. You're – not just you, but the NBA itself is winning me over. This is no longer you have Shaquille O'Neal and you have Horace Grant, a true 5, a true 4.
Right.
The league is different now.
Okay.
And you've seen some of these teams get exposed by having just an inside center and who can't go out and play outside. And I'm starting to realize that, maybe I don't necessarily always want all those guys in there. And Nick Claxton is a good player. If I'm limited to 5, so you took 5 at each position here.
Yeah,
but if I'm limited to 5, he wasn't making my top 5.
Yeah, I colored out side of the lines. I forgot we were only taking 5 total. Nicholas Claxton, he got really exposed in that Brooklyn, that first series. They were just hacking him, and wow, that's some of the worst free throw shooting I've ever seen, and we've seen some bad ones through Orlando.
Yeah.
I also had Dwight Howard on my list.
Right.
I think that would be that's full circle. It's good, heartwarming. It's good to have that veteran big. I love it all the way around. I've got Rollo on here.
Yeah, I say bring him back.
Bring him back. Like, he'll probably take a pay cut so he can be close to Disney. Like, bring him on back. That guy he seemed like he was great for the culture. Fun-loving. Could get along with the younger guys, but has been in the league and knows what it means to have a hard work ethic.
I would say that the good work that he does kind of promoting Disney, I'm guessing he probably gets his free.
I hope so.
Right?
I hope so. If not, Disney.
How many more questions do you have to answer in between timeouts to win a free pass?
Yeah. Also, people, if you're ever at a game and Rollo's on, they're asking you questions about Disney, always choose Rollo's answer.
This is the best advice he's given on the show.
Always.
100%.
So I have Rollo on there. I have Bol on there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know crap about Bol. I don't love bringing him back, but I figured if we traded for him, the front office must see
I've heard that Bol is a unicorn.
Oh,
and that he has a skill set unlike anyone else we've ever seen in the draft.
Wow.
I've seen some videos of him working out. He still looks really good when you see the workout videos, but it doesn't translate onto the NBA floor.
Yeah.
But I don't know as though anybody else is going to come calling for him. So if we can get him at a nominal fee and have him be that guy that's deep bench, I'm cool with it.
Sure. Yeah. And then my star-crossed lover, the unrequited love that was never allowed to come together, is the man with the goggles, Jalen Smith. So he was in an interesting situation. The Suns drafted him pretty high. Didn't choose to extend him. He's now an unrestricted free agent because he was traded. So he's just kind of out there, and a young guy. I was kind of pushing to get him at the trade deadline. I'd still love to have him as a backup big. I think he's better than Nicholas Claxton in terms of he's not a hack-a-shack type of player, I don't think. So
yeah, he's good, but he's raw. I feel like if we don't have a veteran center to help him grow, is he gonna?
So we got to bring in some veteran savvy here. And the way I broke it down, like if you don't bring it in the wing position, and you got to bring it in the center. If you don't bring it in the center, you got to bring it and on the bench. And I thought we need a bench veteran guard. I think that'd still be good. Mm-hmm. Our guards are all really young right now.
Well, we could potentially be losing Harris and
Terrence
Ross. So we need to have a veteran guard.
Exactly.
Somewhere.
So that's what I'm thinking with that. So, I'd love to bring back Gary Harris. I thought he was fantastic. If he'd come back, we could front load his contract for a year and give him a little, have it descending as the years went on. But on this list, I've got Ricky Rubio, Avery Bradley, Austin Rivers, Raul Neto, and Elfrid Payton. Those are all unrestricted free agents. I don't know where their mindset is in terms of wanting to win, but Ricky Rubio had a fantastic season going with the Cavs and then got injured. That was horrible. Felt for him. But I just love that guy. I mean, he's played international. He's a great player, hard-nosed player.
Yeah, Rubio's good wherever he goes. He seems like he moves around all over the place.
It sucks, but I think it'd be great to have him. I mean, he'd have so many pearls of wisdom to drop. Avery Bradley's played on championship teams. Austin Rivers been around the game for his whole life. Raul Neto, like Elfrid Payton, I'm less high on those, but I think all of those bring some type of veteran savvy and presence and wherewithal. I don't know how Elfrid would feel coming back to the Orlando Magic.
I'm going to pass on Elfrid. I'm going to pass on Neto.
Yeah.
I'm passing on Austin Rivers, too.
Yeah.
I do like Avery Bradley, though.
I mean, none of these guys, I don't see many of them playing many minutes,
No, but Avery Bradley, he's a dog on defense, man. He gets after it, and that's what you want off the bench is a spark guy.
Yep.
And he did that for a lot of years for the Celtics, and he would be a good ad.
Yeah. But we'll see. I think that he'll probably be, somewhere for like a veteran minimum, trying to compete for another championship. But who knows? Who do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Put it in the comments. Who should the Orlando Magic go after in free agency?
Be realistic, please.
Be realistic. Who did you think we were way off base? Did you like anything that we said? Chop us up. Give us hell in the comments if you want. We can take it.